Okay, so we're going to compare running SharePoint 2013 in VMware Workstation on the left on a PC. This is a Lenovo W520, SATA 3 SSDs, 32 gigabytes of RAM on the host, Core i7 processor. And on the right, you have a 15-inch MacBook Pro 2013 version with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes PCI Express SSD. Now, one of the limitations you see here is that the VM on the left, the computer on the left has got a total host memory of 32 gigabytes, whereas the Mac on the right has got host memory of 16 gigabytes. So one of my concerns was, how does a SharePoint VM, which is requires a lot of memory, behave on either one of these? So I've maxed the VM settings out to maximum on both, but on the PC, the PC has 24 gigabytes allocated to the VM and 8 cores of processors. On the Mac, you have 12 gigabytes of RAM allocated to the VM and 4 cores in processors. So I'm going to boot both of these together. We're going to use both of these together, and we're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to try and hit these buttons as close as possible to each other. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. I'm actually going to full screen this so we can see how exactly it looks like. So right is Mac, left is PC. So you see, so far, clearly the Mac is winning, even though the Mac has got lesser resources allocated to the VM, and still the Mac is winning. It's quite impressive. But let's see how it goes. The VMs are identical. I copied the same VM I have from the PC to the Mac. Here I'm running VMware Fusion 6 Professional Trial Edition, and here I'm running VMware Workstation 10. So let's see how it goes. So, I mean, it's so clear that the Mac is like far ahead, even though this has got like half the resources. And you see here the Fusion automatically adjusted it for Retina display as well. So you're not squinting your eyes looking at really small fonts on a Mac. So the Mac is ready to go. So let's go ahead and start using it. There's a SharePoint VM. I have a warmup script. I'm going to say restart later. I have a warmup script. It is warming up the VMs, the SharePoint sites in this. And it's going to ask me to keep reset. That's okay. That's typical. So one web application is already warmed up. I have 2 web apps, Central Admin and a Port 80 web app. And you see one is already warmed up. It's just a bare, it's a SharePoint dev machine. There's nothing crazy installed on it. I mean, it's set up for like apps, and it's set up for workflow and all of that. And the PC is still trying to wake up, as you can see on the left-hand side. Now, mind you, the PC on the left is not a low-end spec PC. It's a 32 gigabytes of RAM, Core i7 processor. It's a pretty high-end PC. It's got dual SSDs in it, 2 SSDs, one with the page file, another one with the VM. So, I mean, I've tried to take this PC on the left as far as I could take it. And this guy is just waking up, okay? So let's give it some time. Now it's warming up the VM on the left-hand side. I mean, and see, there's nothing else running on either one of these. And let me go ahead and full screen this, like I did it on the Mac. Okay, and still trying to warm it up. I mean, and see the Mac, it's ready to go. And this guy's still thinking. It's ridiculous how much faster it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is that I will wait for the poor old PC to catch up. And then what we'll do is that I'm going to launch SharePoint. I will launch Visual Studio, and we'll see which one reacts faster, behaves faster. But we got to wait for this poor guy to try and catch up. Let me move the camera a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. See, this he's still trying to catch up, right? He's trying to boot up the VM. It's absurd how much faster the Mac is. Like, I don't want to come across as a Mac lover or whatever, or Mac Apple fanboy, but it's an identical VM in front of you, and the Mac has been given half the resources. I mean, clearly the hardware specs, I guess they matter, but I don't know, maybe it's a PCI Express SSD on the right-hand side that is just ridiculously faster. I guess I'm going to be spending a lot of money buying a new Mac in my very near future. So this guy is still trying to wake up on the left-hand side. I don't want to bore you with these details, but you know, like I could edit this video to make it shorter, but really this is what I have to go through every time I boot up this VM on a PC. And I mean, it's really that fast. There's one other thing I want to show you. The Mac, the fan doesn't run at all, but I'm going to move my video recorder very, very close to the Mac, and you'll see that because I booted SharePoint, the fan in the Mac came on. I wonder if you can hear it, right? Like that fan, it doesn't even run when I'm, the fan doesn't even run when I'm, running just the Mac OS. But when I ran the VM, the fan comes on. You see here, this red thing you see here is basically that the VM, the website did not respond and it timed out. But you know, in the background, it's still warming up. This is what warm-up scripts do in general. It happens sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't happen. I have a desktop as well, a fairly high-end spec desktop. I don't see that download string timeout on a desktop. Okay, let's wait for both of the machines to warm up so it's a fair comparison. And if you see here, I mean, you know, you can see that the disk is sort of struggling here, right? You see that blinking light? And the disk struggling, I mean, it's doing something in the background. It's working hard. And I want to disturb it, but you know, if I was to look at the CPU at this time on the left-hand side, you'd see that the CPU is maxed out at 100% on the left one. So, okay, well let's wait for this guy to like at least the script to finish running. Yeah, I know it's boring to watch this script running, but it's absurd how much faster it is. So here we go. One of these days, this guy will wake up and I can finally start doing some real work. All right, both of them timed out, but that's normal. This is what I have to deal with. Now the websites are warmed up. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to start open SharePoint on both of these. Okay, so port 80. So I'm going to start open the browser. Start, and as close as possible to each other, I'm going to open Internet Explorer. Ready, steady, go. And you see how much faster the Mac was. Now I'm going to go ahead and load from the favorites as close as possible to each other. I'm going to load the web application, that is my SharePoint site. Ready, steady, go. And the Mac is ready, and this guy's still thinking. I think this is absurd how much faster the Mac is. It is absolutely absurd how much faster it is. Hands down, I'm ordering this computer almost immediately after I finish recording this video. This computer is that good. This guy's still working on it, slacking on it. Like for us SharePointies, we've seen this a lot, right? Working on it. So okay. Now the fan is really kicking up on the computer on the right now. Like I can really hear it now. Like let me see if you can, maybe you can hear it on the video as well. I don't know if you can hear it. But I can definitely hear the fan on the Mac now. But that's okay, I guess. I guess the only thing I'm going to miss with the Mac is that I have a pretty big battery. Yeah, sorry I got a call in the middle of that video, but this guy is still working. So I'll join these two videos together so they'll appear seamless. But the PC is still working. And Okay, so this guy's finally woken up. Now I'm going to click on, let's say, site contents, for instance. And I'll try and, again, do both of these as close to each other as possible. Bam. This guy's loaded. This guy still says working on it and it's thinking and finally loads up. Let's go to site settings, okay? Again, I'm going to try and click both of these as close to each other as possible. Site contents, let's make sure, yeah. 1, 2, 3, go. I mean, this is, oh, sorry, I meant site settings. Site settings, 1, 2, 3, go. I don't even know what this guy's doing anymore. I mean, anyway, I think we've proven this point. Let's load central administration. Well, there you go. On the left-hand side, it finally loaded. Let's go ahead and load central administration on both of these. Alt-A, find central admin, it's in favorites. I'm going to hit enter. Let's see which one loads faster. Remember, this is running on half the memory and half the processors allocated as compared to the PC. And yet this is at least twice as fast. It's pretty clear that this is, I mean, it's hands down, this is far, far, far better than this. Like, I wouldn't run a production farm on this because you need real, you need RAM. Otherwise the services will start failing. But for development purposes, I think a Mac is definitely superior. So this guy's still trying to wake up. Like, this guy's like me in the morning. This guy's like me at night. Okay. Still trying to wake up. Here we go. You can do it, PC. Hi, I'm a PC. I'm a Mac. God, come on. This is me developing for SharePoint. So I cuss so much because it's just so slow. You can't use it. I'd be willing to bet that the Mac is actually faster than my desktop, and my desktop is a monster. Yeah, it's a PC, but my desktop is an absolute monster. But I tell you, this guy over here is faster than my desktop. Hands down, by far. And my desktop's got like 128 gigs of RAM, and I've like maxed it like you would not believe. But you know, I mean, this is faster. Oh God. I don't want to launch Visual Studio with this guy still thinking, because it wouldn't be a fair comparison because it's doing stuff in the background. But come on, PC, you can do it. Okay. Well, look at the plus side. I could take a bathroom break in the middle of this. Error, because it's timed out. Sorry, something went wrong. It's just timed out. That's the error. If I hit F5, it'll probably load. But see, these are the kinds of things I have to deal with when I'm developing on the PC. But anyway, let's go ahead and close these browsers. At least leave these open. I'm going to launch Visual Studio, and let's see which loads faster. So let's go to both of these. Visual Studio 2012, Visual Studio 2012. Again, I'm going to click as close as possible to each other. Ready, steady, and go. I screwed up. Not a fair comparison. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open Visual Studio on this left-hand side. I'm going to close Visual Studio on both, and I'm going to launch it again. I screwed up. Sorry. But I mean, you can tell which one is faster already. I think I've pretty much driven the point home which is faster. But, you know, just for fun, we'll open Visual Studio and we'll create a project and see which one is faster. Visual Studio, ready, steady, and go. See? Yeah, it's thinking. Yeah, here we go. And there was a second launch when everything is cached. Now I'm going to click on New Project, New Project. Well, this is going to be a little hard, but I'll try. New Project. Opens, still thinking. Let's create a SharePoint project on both sides. SharePoint empty project, Office SharePoint, SharePoint solution, SharePoint empty project. And again, I'm going to click OK, as close as possible to each other at the same time. Ready, steady, and go. It's already done. This guy was behind. Let's click on finish and let's see which creates the project first. Progress bar on both, okay. He's communicating with SharePoint. This guy is ahead. Done. Ready to go. You can start coding. This guy is still thinking. Still thinking. Still thinking. All right, still thinking. Still thinking. Not to mention that, you know, if like me, if you write code both for the Mac platform and the Windows platform, with this I have to carry just one laptop, or with this I have to carry two laptops, because I can't do Mac development on this, but I can do Windows development on this. Here you go. I think I've driven the point home enough. It's pretty clear which is faster. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you find it useful. I'm going to go order this machine now. Thank you. Bye.